Have you ever looked back at a painful season of your life and suddenly realized God was protecting you the entire time? Because sometimes the things that hurt us the most in the moment become the things we thank God for later. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. Confused, waiting, questioning, trying to understand why certain doors closed, why certain prayers seemed unanswered, why certain people left, why certain opportunities disappeared, why God allowed things to happen the way they did. And if you're being honest, part of you is still asking, God, why? Because it's hard to trust what you don't understand. It's hard to accept a closed door when you prayed so hard for it to open. It's hard to accept a delay when you desperately wanted movement. It's hard to accept silence when you're searching for answers. And yet, some of the greatest acts of God's love arrive disguised as disappointment, because what feels like rejection today may actually be protection. What feels like loss today may actually be redirection. What feels like confusion today may actually be preparation. But we rarely see that in the moment, because pain narrows our perspective. Pain makes us focus on what we lost, what didn't happen, what didn't work, what didn't arrive. And when we're hurting, it's difficult to imagine that God could be doing something good behind the scenes. Yet over and over throughout life, God proves that His perspective is bigger than ours. He sees what we cannot see. He knows what we do not know. He understands what is ahead, while we're only looking at what's directly in front of us. And that's why trusting Him can feel so difficult. Because trust requires surrendering the need to understand everything immediately. And most of us don't like that. We want explanations. We want timelines. We want certainty. We want answers now. But God often works differently. Sometimes He doesn't give explanations. Sometimes He gives trust. Because if He showed you everything too early, you might depend on information more than faith. And maybe that's why you've been in this season, a season where answers seem delayed, a season where clarity feels distant, a season where God appears to be saying, "Trust me before you understand me." And honestly, that may be one of the hardest lessons in the Christian life, because faith sounds beautiful until it asks you to trust God without seeing the outcome, until it asks you to keep moving without all the answers, until it asks you to believe that God is working, even when nothing around you appears to be changing. But that's exactly where spiritual maturity grows. Not when everything makes sense, but when nothing makes sense, and you continue trusting anyway. Because faith is not confidence in circumstances. Faith is confidence in God's character. It's believing that He is good. Even when life feels confusing, it's believing that He is present. Even when He feels silent, it's believing that He is working. Even when you cannot see evidence yet. And maybe right now, God is preparing to reveal something you've been asking about for a very long time. Not necessarily all at once, not necessarily in the way you expected, but enough for you to finally begin seeing what He was doing. Because there comes a moment in many people's lives when the pieces finally start connecting. The closed door suddenly makes sense. The delay suddenly makes sense. The heartbreak suddenly makes sense. The waiting suddenly makes sense. And they realize if God had given them what they wanted back then, it would have prevented something better from arriving later. And that's a humbling realization, because it reveals how limited our perspective really is. How often we pray for things that aren't aligned. How often we fight for things God is trying to remove. How often we mourn things that God is replacing. And maybe that's why this message found you today. Because God wants you to stop measuring His faithfulness by your current understanding. He wants you to stop assuming that confusion means He's absent. He wants you to stop believing that delay means denial. Because what if the thing that's frustrating you most right now is the very thing you'll thank Him for later? What if the answer you've been demanding is already being prepared? What if the reason this season has felt so difficult is because God has been positioning pieces you cannot yet see? And what if you're closer to understanding than you realize? Because God is not random. He is intentional. He is purposeful. He wastes nothing. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your disappointment, not your confusion, not your pain. Every season serves a purpose. Every delay carries a lesson. Every closed door creates direction, and every moment of uncertainty can become part of a greater story. The problem is, we usually only understand the story after we've lived through the chapter. And maybe that's where trust becomes essential, because trust allows you to keep walking before the explanation arrives. Trust allows you to keep believing before the evidence appears. Trust allows you to keep hoping before the breakthrough becomes visible. And maybe today, that's exactly what God is asking from you. Not perfect understanding, not complete certainty, just trust. Trust that He sees more than you do. Trust that His timing is wiser than yours. Trust that His plans are bigger than your current frustration. Trust that what seems delayed may actually be developing. And trust that one day you will see what He's been doing all along. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, because God has a way of revealing His fingerprints in places where we once saw only confusion. And when that moment comes, you'll realize He was working during the silence, working during the waiting, working during the disappointment, working during the questions, working during the tears. He never stopped, not for a moment, and maybe that's the message your heart needed today. Not that you have all the answers, but that the answers are coming. Not that everything suddenly makes sense, but that one day it will. Not that the waiting is over, but that the waiting has purpose, because God is about to reveal why the door closed, why the season lasted longer than expected, why the answer took time, why the path looked different than you imagined. And when He does, you'll understand something beautiful. He wasn't withholding good things from you. He was leading you toward better things. So let this be your prayer tonight. God, help me trust You before I understand You. Help me remain faithful while I wait. And when the answers finally come, help me recognize Your hand in every step of the journey, because I believe You are about to reveal why. If you feel this message, comment, "Now I'll see," and subscribe for daily reflections.